Hey guys, welcome to our new project, the Bic Mitchum Show. This is your host Josh. I'm coming at you live from Ontario, Canada. This week we are very happy to have a special guest with us. This YouTuber has over 6,000 subs. You guys know him if you've been around the stream. It's Star Wars Legacy. Please say hello to our friend Star Wars Legacy. Thank you for coming.
Hey, thanks so much for having me on. It's my pleasure.
Let's jump right into things. One of the big things that we've seen lately in Star Wars news has been the all-terrain Mega Caliber 6, which is also known as the ATM-6. For those of you who don't know, it's basically the First Order's updated AT Walker. We're going to see this in The Last Jedi. We could see it in Battlefront 2, who knows? So, Star Wars, how would you handle this thing if you did have to take this down?
I have absolutely no idea as of now, because the Last Jedi isn't out. Yeah, it's hard to say. Maybe some ion torpedoes, but then again, I think they would have fixed that issue with the old 88. It's really difficult to say right now.
Yeah, I really hope the First Order would learn their lesson with that one. It looks like airspeeders will not be able to take these things down, and the crouching ability, or sorry, I guess the knuckles in the front, it sort of looks like a bit of a gorilla, so some crouching abilities could be possible. It looks like a pretty interesting vehicle, and it'll be very cool to see how they use it in the new movie. In other news, we have heard rumors that a new Obi-Wan film is in the works. What would you like to see as far as an Obi-Wan standalone film goes?
So it will be on Tatooine. Hopefully Ewan McGregor, because he's kind of the perfect age to play that. He's actually around the same age as kind of Obi-Wan would have been in the desert, I think. So he's the perfect age right now.
Yeah, I personally don't think I can see anyone else play the role. McGregor did such a great job. The rumor is that Stephen Daldry has been signed on by Disney or is in talks to do this. Presuming it takes place after Revenge of the Sith, Obi-Wan's in the desert. What do you think that this director has to do to sort of push the story forward?
Yeah, that's really the difficult thing right now, because apart from protecting Luke and learning how to become a Force ghost, I can't really see what would drive the story forward. But I'd love to see Obi-Wan learning how to transcend himself into a Force ghost. That would be really cool. But yeah, it's hard to say.
I was a little surprised that as much as I think an Obi-Wan Kenobi movie is like a cool idea, and as much as I love Ian McGregor as an actor, I was a little surprised that they decided to go with an Obi-Wan movie rather than, like, say, a Boba Fett or Yoda. Even there's a lot of interesting characters that we don't know a lot about.
It definitely is quite a risky idea, because if they are indeed doing this film, it would have to be so good. It would just have to be probably in the top 5 Star Wars films ever made, and it would have to feel so authentic, because that bridge between 3 and 4, especially the duel between Vader and Kenobi in A New Hope, you really get a sense that they haven't seen each other since Mustafar. And I've seen people saying that they'd want to see Vader again. And in my opinion, I really wouldn't like that.
I think that's on the mark. But if we don't have Vader, who do we see as the antagonist? I mean, do they bring Darth Maul back into the mix?
Yeah, because we've seen Darth Maul in Rebels, but obviously we can't get that in. I guess the only way we could see him is if they did a Palpatine kind of Plagueis film before the Phantom Menace, and then it ended very close to the Phantom Menace. That's the only way I can see him ever returning to the film.
Pretty clear that they're trying to sort of like fill some plot holes. One thing that I remember growing up was people used to ask, why would the Empire make this huge weapon, the Death Star, with such a stupid vulnerability? And then Rogue One its whole point was to sort of fill
and it did a very
hole.
good job on that.
Disney clearly doesn't want to complicate things further, so what will be the point of this movie, do you think?
Kind of flesh out Kenobi's character further and explain, because in episode 3 we find Obi-Wan in in a very active part of his life. He's very athletic. He's got a sense of humor. He's a much different person to where we find him in A New Hope. So I think if we're going to see, it will be quite a sad film, because you got to remember, a lot of people don't realize Obi-Wan had everything taken away from him during those 20 years. So, and that's obviously going to make a big effect on his life. If they do indeed decide to do this film, I can see a lot of plot holes coming up if they aren't careful, because that's so precious. That those 20 years of Kenobi in the desert, it's really precious, and it's hard to touch. It's difficult. It's really difficult, that gap.
I'm not sure how much time you spend on Instagram, but if you have been on lately, getting back to characters we'd like to see, Daniel Logan, who formerly played Boba Fett in the Clone Wars, has been campaigning with hashtag Make Daniel Logan Boba Fett again. So I'm going to speculate a little bit and say that perhaps if they're not thinking of making a Boba Fett movie, at least they're thinking of casting somebody to play Boba Fett in another film. Do you think that they should bring Logan back to play Boba Fett, or do you think they should take the character in a new direction?
I think the person I'd like to see, Temuera Morrison, the guy who did the Clone Troopers and Jango Fett in the prequels. I think that's the best way to go it. Because I think Temuera Morrison would be the best bet. And
that's just for continuity reasons?
Exactly.
Do you think that it's more likely that he'll get his own film, or do you think it's more likely he, say, becomes an antagonist in like the Han Solo film?
I think if we're being real, I think it's more realistic to say that he'll get his own film, though I'd rather much see him as the antagonist in the Han Solo film. Because when you watch the original trilogy, you get a real sense that these two have some history together. So yeah, I'd like to see that.
So what else is new in the Star Wars community?
I heard that for episode 9, they could be returning to Jakku, because some cast members on a podcast, they said that they're filming in Abu Dhabi next year. And as some of you may know, Abu Dhabi is Jakku in real life. So I don't know if you knew about that, but that's pretty interesting.
I didn't know about that. What would be, I guess, the reason for returning to Jakku?
We knew the Empire had a base on there. There's a lot of stuff that happened on Jakku. We've got Rey there, Lor San Tekka, and there must be something really big that's happened there. That obviously, because there seems to be all these connecting tissues, and they're all important things. So yeah.
And I guess we can't finish off without talking about Battlefront 2. We recently got some new content. It's some Fighter Squadron. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, Starfighter. So I think it would have been nice if like on phase 1 you had to destroy something on the enemy capital ship in order to open their hangar, and in real time you could fly in there and board their own ship. I think that would be a really cool addition to Battlefront.
See some land to air combat. And I was really quite surprised that they didn't include that. Do you think that that's maybe EA or DICE sort of losing touch with the fan base, or do you think that maybe our expectations are a bit too high for this game?
From what I've heard from a few people, that for DICE to fit it in, like in order to have that mechanic, it would take up so much space in the game contents. I think it can be done, but there's a lot of work to be done, and I think business-wise it makes sense as well. From what I've played so far, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, we've got the 3 seasons coming every few months, and people look forward to this stuff. And I think the progression system is very long, because this is something that they've really worked on. So I'm really hoping that the player base maintains a steady level throughout its lifespan.
Thanks for joining us, and
my pleasure, man.
We're happy to have you. As I said earlier in our private messages, it's great to have someone on the team with with so much knowledge about Star Wars and about the games.
Thanks, man.
And
as always, I'm really thankful for you having me. It's awesome. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you guys next time in the next video. Bye now.